Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 Premium SPG that we know and love as Fifi La Pew Pew. This one is located on the southwest spawn of Karelia and it's under the command of YouWho of 606. Okay, game's on and he's got 2 marks of excellence on the barrel. So he's obviously played Fifi quite a lot and he's getting very good at it. Now, of course, this is actually in the game as a French SPG, but in reality, it was a German SPG. Yes, the Germans built them out of the Shure MV7X, the French heavy tank that they captured after the fall of France in 1940. Well, we've got some company because the Cheeky turned up, and we're turning our 105mm light field howitzer towards the enemy. Okay, selecting to shoot right down to the far end of the southern pass. He's found the T6 medium, and in fact there's another enemy tank just behind the rock as well. Okay, that one hit the ground, and looks like the other Arty on our team went for the 14 TP, but that tank is actually just slightly out of range of us. We've had to move forward just to get it in range. Okay, so we're basing it on that he's still there, firing around in the exact spot, and it does hit the spot, but he's not there. So we fired another speculative round in. The good thing about Fifi is it does have 50 rounds of ammunition. Oh, that was a big hit. 116 on T6 medium. 50 rounds is enough to play around a little, but because it can only do 410 alpha, you probably have to hit an enemy tank with at least 2 shots to wipe it out completely. Well, that, oh my god. Well, he didn't need 2 shots on that one. 424 hit points from penetration on the engine deck of that T6 medium. Okay, we've got an M5. He's just wiped out on Electo. Can we get this guy? He's sitting behind that rock thinking he's safe. He's not safe at all there. In fact, he's wiped out a blind kill on the M5A1 because he was still there. He thought that he was unspotted. Arty players do have great memories. In fact, they have a mini-map which actually shows them where the enemy tank is, or was, and all they have to do is aim at that spot, and usually the enemy tank will appear. Okay, we're trying to get shots over this rock, and it's a bit difficult. That DW2 is actually sitting in the shadow of the rock in defilade, so he can't be hit. But this Stug Fear, one of those premium tanks, the reward tanks, he's out in the open. So we can definitely put rounds into him, but we can't see him now, so that's part of the problem. Just fired in speculatively. The other Arty on our team is an SU-122A. That's a fake Arty that never actually existed. Okay, he fired a bit snap there, so that's why it didn't hit the target, but he fires again at this Stug guy. Oh, and he landed the shell very close to the Stug just before he was taken out by a T-34. We're now going for the Valentine anti-tank. Working out where to put the shell. That's it. That looks good. Very close. 24 hit points. Fires another round in. Okay, looking back to this corner again, we can now see that Stug Fear has gone round the corner. And again, he's in protection of that rock. So there's nothing like we can do about that one. Or that DW2. There is a 14 TP though who's actually managed to get up the rocks. In fact, he's not alone. There's an improved M4 and he's trying to line up a shot on that guy. Rounds out. That was very close. One more shot like that and I think he'll probably hit that guy. Oh, he did! And he wiped him out. So that's his third kill in the game. Firing at the 14 TP, blind. Okay, the enemy seems to have been doing rather well up in this corner of the map. And I'm afraid that DW2 and the Stug 4 have killed all of our tanks that we had in that corner. And now they're on the move south. I think that shell hit the wreck that was in that corner. You can see YouWho's decided it's probably better for him to relocate a little further over so that he's actually out of sight of the enemy. In fact, our SU-122A is doing the same. He's relocating because he thinks the enemy is coming down from the north. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment. They are ahead. They also have more hit points than we do. And there's that 14 TP again. Okay, so he's actually fairly close. There he is. Making his way through the river. Fires one round in. Unfortunately, we couldn't see him and it was a hit in the water. Okay, somewhere up ahead. The good thing about this Arty is it's got a view range of 390 meters. And in fact, actually, we've respotted the 14 TP and he's a lot closer. He is a one-shot to us. No, I think he's moved on from there. Our SU-122 is getting very close to him, unfortunately. In fact, he's seen the SU-122 and it looks like he's going after him. But the 14 TP gets wiped out by the SU-76. Okay, we've got an M8A1 right in the swamp. Dialing in. Almost fully dialed in. Rounds out. No, not on that one. Lost sight of him again. There he is. He's on the move. Let's see if we can catch him. Line up ahead of his track. Fires. That was so close. It looks like he's retreating now, trying to get behind cover. He's being attacked by the Panzer IV Ausführung H up on the horseshoe. Meanwhile, one of their Artys has actually come into sight and it's the gorilla. That was very close. Now, if he hasn't moved... Oh! Well, the SU-122 finished him off. And that guy now has a kill. But we're guessing that the M8A1 is still behind. Oh! We lost our Panzer IV. And now that DW2, the one that was hiding behind the rock, is getting closer. He's stuck behind the rock for cover. And now he's out of the game. Good shot. Very accurate. Could only see the rear of the vehicle poking out every time he backed up. But that was enough. YouWho put a round into him and he's out the game. We're now only 1 behind, but there's only 4 tanks left on our team. 2 tank destroyers and 2 Arty. There's the there's a Churchill 3. It's on the southern pass and he's firing at our SU-76. Rounds out. Well, the Churchill goes down, but not before he killed that SU-76. So now we're down to 3 tanks. 1 tank destroyer, 2 Arty. And the enemy team has got 4 tanks left. So somewhere in that swamp is the M8A1, but we're probably not going to see him until it gets very close. I can hear some destruction going on, and that's probably the M8A1 knocking over things as he moves closer to us. So I'd hold on to your shells because he hasn't got that many shells left now. YouWho needs to be careful that he doesn't use too many. I can hear some more knocking going on, so more foliage is being knocked over closer to us. And there he is. Yes, he was moving closer. He went via the river. Okay, so we're just dialing in. Rounds out. Just in front of him. Almost loaded. There we go. Rounds out. Into the water. Running very low on ammunition. I think he bracketed the target there. Okay, another Arty's turned up, and in fact, it's our opposite number, the Fifi, and we're just being hit by the M8A1. In fact, we've been hit twice, and that, I think, is the 3-inch gun, because any of the other guns would actually do less damage. So, yes, the enemy Arty has just been wiped out. Just taken out the game by the Panzer Selbstfahrerwerfer 1C, which is a premium tank destroyer. Okay, so that M8A1 is still somewhere over here. In fact, he's moved, and there he is. He's trying to get at the Su-122, and in fact, he managed to get some damage. And I think he's probably going to kill him if, yeah, he did. But he comes up over the rise, and that's the end of him. And that's our 6th kill. There's 2 enemies remaining. That Stug Fear that we were firing at earlier in the game has just got into the cap circle. And he's the other side of this rock. There he is. He's being fired on by the Panzer Selbstfahrerwerfer. And now we're going to finish him off with a close shot at close range. We've reloaded the heat, and 1 shot was enough to finish him off. So that's 7 kills now. The last remaining enemy is the Valentine anti-tank. There he is. So it's 2 against 1 now. And YouWho wants his Radley Walters. So he's getting closer. He's going to drive down there and shotgun him at close range. He's probably going to locate him by proximity rather than sight. In fact, there he is. He's locked on. Misses with the first shot. Second shot, oh, takes a HE round. And he rams him to death. And that is the end of the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a first class tanker for YouWho of 606 in the 105 leFH18B2. He managed to get a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in that game. He managed to get 14. He got a Radley Walters, a very rare medal for Arty, because he managed to kill 8 enemy tanks on his own. He also picked up a Stark's medal because he took at least 2 shots from the enemy, lost 2/3 of his hit points in the process, and managed to kill at least 2 enemy tanks and survived the battle. He also got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. His win rate was 7,430, which is super unicum. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see that the highest damage was 2,074 hit points of damage to YouWho. Second highest was the M8A1, who got 1,347 rather. And the third highest, well, that was the Panzer IV Ausführung H, who got 1,028 hit points. When it came to kills, we can see top scorer was YouWho with 8 kills. In fact, that means he managed to get more kills than the rest of his team put together. And the next top scorer was the M8A1, who managed to get 3 kills, and 2 kills went to the Churchill 3, the DW2, and the enemy PP, 2 kills apiece. And when it came to base XP, yes, he's the only player to get over 1,000 base, and that means he's got the top in all 3 columns. He got 1,066 base experience points. Next highest was the Panzervier, who managed to get 721. And third highest was the Panzerselbstfallerfette 1C, who was the last tank left alive on his team, who got 692 in third place. He fired 44 rounds, so he only had 6 rounds left at the end of the game. He got 9 direct hits on the enemy and 7 penetrations. That's a lot. 7 splashes as well, 2,074 hit points of damage, of which 1,611 were at more than 300 meters. So about 400 hit points was done at close range. 3 hits received from the enemy. 2 of those were penetrations. 1 hit by way of splash damage as well. The Valentine tank was actually firing HE rounds at him. Really should have been firing the armor piercing rounds, because the armor on the Fifi is actually quite heavy. It's a heavy tank conversion. He damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 8 of the enemy, and he managed to get 29,005 credits on a premium count, 25 bonds for completing a mission, and 9,435 experience points after completing another mission for 7,156 or 96. So a very good game. And he says, my best friend leFH. Well, yes, if you play it like this, it is your best friend, because it's a game winner. It's so efficient. This Arty is very accurate when you let it dial in. If you fire when it's not dialed in, it goes all over the place. But if you fire accurately at the enemy, the shells tend to go exactly where you want them to go. And with weak-skinned vehicles, this thing can really penetrate. And in this game, yes, he did penetrate a lot of tanks. We can see he penetrated the T6 medium. That was the first kill he managed to get. He also got the M5A1 with a penetrating shot. That was the guy with the blind shot. He managed to kill the Stug. That was the one who got very close into the cap area. He also penetrated the M8A1. Again, that was the guy who just killed our Su-122. He also penetrated the DW2 and the Churchill 3 as well, and the M4 improved. Yes, so a lot of tanks were penetrated. He didn't penetrate the Valentine, he rammed him to death. So very well played in that game. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.